If you clicked on this video because of the title, let me just clear that right up. No, she did not sleep with anyone for a vision, as if that's even possible. Now that you know it's not some perverted shit, Layla is the newest cryo character introduced to the game, and she has a rather quirky personality trait. Layla has two personas, one when she is awake and the other when she falls asleep. So when she eventually received the vision, was it because of the awake persona or was it because she was asleep? Before we get into that though, if you want to see more Genshin Impact content, do consider subscribing to the channel. Let me first elaborate a bit more on Layla. Throughout most of Sumeru's story, we largely interact and see the academia through its more experienced members. We view the academic world through the eyes of the sages, the scribe, and even the general Mahamatra, all of whom are high-rank academia faculty. But Layla is a playable character that is only just a student. She belongs to the Ratawahis Darshan, I don't know how to pronounce that, which studies illuminationism, an area of study that focuses on the movement of stars and predictions, so things like astrology and astronomy are its main branches. Because of the pressures of academic life, Layla appears as a very self-conscious and introverted person. She tends to be insecure when it comes to her own abilities and second-guesses any work that she does. Every calculation, dissertation, and assignment paper is examined more than twice as she feels her work isn't up to par or there is just some mistake hiding somewhere. As I mentioned in the intro, this is not the only side of her, as her personality takes a shift when she goes to sleep and starts sleepwalking. The second personality is smart, resourceful, and confident enough to even question the works of others, something awake Layla would never do. Any question or task that she would normally have no idea on how to start, mostly due to her indecision, is easily tackled by her sleepwalking persona. Now, while the word I'm using here is personality, it doesn't really mean there is a different person inside her or anything. This side of Layla is also who she truly is, minus all the expectations she has put on herself. It's as if all the pressure from her studies and coursework pushes down this side of her, and while sleepwalking, she is now free to express and manifest these traits without the worry of what others might think. Both personalities are still Layla, but the academic pressure has seemingly walled off these two personas and separated them. Layla initially had no interest in the academia, but a long time ago she met her future mentor who motivated her to join the academic world. Her mentor felt that Layla had the thirst and capacity to seek true knowledge. The distinction mentioned here between true knowledge and just run-of-the-mill knowledge is important. What it refers to is that Layla has the drive and mindset to pursue the truth behind whatever she studies, unlike most other students who are just content with memorizing whatever they're told. On top of having this drive, even if Layla does second guess herself a lot, she is still quite academically gifted. On one occasion during a classroom discussion, a Herbert noticed the notes Layla was taking. He began criticizing her work and claiming that her new ways of thinking weren't the way of the Darshan, and she should just focus more on gaining the knowledge the teachers had to give, instead of questioning them. Layla felt that this was wrong, and she eventually began an intellectual battle with the Herbert. To put this into perspective, those at the rank of Herbert are just one level below the sages themselves, and are considered a wealth of knowledge and experience. Now, it's not like she started going off in class or anything, but as the scholar expressed his opinions, she merely took it in stride and later drafted out an appropriate response and sent it directly to him. At first it started off tame enough, but soon it escalated into a correspondence that lasted quite a while. Layla and the Herbert would respond to each other's claims and each would refute the other's points. Now, it's unclear whether some of these responses were the awake her or the sleepwalking her, but the responses were concise and ironclad in their logic, so I suspect some, if not all of it, were crafted by the sleepwalking persona. Eventually though, the Herbert would seek her out personally and admitted that the school had overseen an error in a specific piece of knowledge that nobody bothered to check. Instead of being angry, however, he was actually quite happy and proud of Layla that the student would contest something. He viewed this as a necessary thing for a school or body of knowledge to advance, by questioning everything. This spirit of intellectual curiosity is what he felt students should embody in the pursuit of true knowledge. Now, what significance does this story have overall to the question I posed in the beginning? Well, after this whole altercation, as Layla was arranging all the letters and notes she had built up during the exchange, she found nested between her notes a vision. But given how low-key the whole exchange was, the equivalent of corresponding via emails in the academia, why was she even granted a vision? We typically see visions granted due to an overwhelming desire or unyielding ambition by its wielder. But Yaimiko has actually outright stated that there is another way to get them. That's if you choose to believe her, of course. I made a more detailed video about that if you're curious, but the gist of it is that those who seemingly transcend the limitations of the world and learn its true nature will very likely be granted a vision. Perhaps Layla is the first example of this coming true. Layla's interaction with the Herbat wasn't born of any specific or exceptionally strong desire to be smarter like with Lisa. While she wanted to make her parents proud, she didn't have any high-minded ambition when it came to her studies either. She just wanted to share her opinion, so there isn't any inherent desire or strong ambition for us to use as an explanation here. Instead, it's likely that through her interaction, an area of study was improved. And perhaps through that process, she gained a deeper understanding of the world itself, or rather, its true nature, whether she realized it or not. And this ties back to what Yaimiko has mentioned. Maybe through understanding this specific niche allowed Layla to have an understanding beyond what others might have, and made her eligible for a vision. It could be that even if it was a small piece, what Layla had discovered or uncovered was a piece of the true knowledge of the world. Also recall that her area of study are the stars themselves and the constellations. No doubt a significant field within the world of Tevat, especially now that we have two people who claim that the sky itself is fake. So perhaps her discovery held more value than we are led to believe. Of course, much like any of these types of videos, it's just an educated guess. We still don't truly know what the motivations or even requirements are for one to receive a vision. Much of what we know are inferences made from discerning existing or historical patterns. But if knowledge truly is an avenue to godhood, perhaps the opposite of that leads one to forbidden knowledge and its outcomes. It could also even be that during her battles with the Herbat, her secondary persona was brimming with desire to beat him, an ambition to attain the heights of knowledge, and this was the true reason behind why she received the vision. And that's basically how Layla kinda somewhat slept her way into receiving a vision. Whatever the case may be, that does it for this video. If you enjoyed it, do consider liking and subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. As usual, have a nice day.